Hi folks, this is Thursday the 28th of June, and this picture was taken, these two pictures were taken on Wednesday, last night. The third picture is the same as the first, I guess, but it's wanted to talk about it. Because it's kind of interesting. It's a larval stage of an orange dog. Orange dogs are made from that beautiful giant yellow swallowtail butterfly, and they can smell a citrus tree, especially with nice young foliage on it, from about 18 miles high, I think. Anyway, here's what the IFAS, Florida Citrus Pest Management Guide, says about the orange dog. It's not that long, so I wanted to read it. And I don't know if you have it over there in Japan, for example. You may have seen this. So anyway, it's kind of fun just to look at it for a second. The adult of the orange dog is the giant swallowtail butterfly. Orange dog eggs are large, round, and semi-translucent orange in color, and easily recognized on the expanding terminals where they are typically laid. The developing larvae are shiny brown and white, resembling bird droppings, and feed preferentially on the new leaves. Under normal conditions, populations are sufficiently low and the damage sufficiently dispersed that there's little cause for concern. However, situations can arise, especially in the fall, when large numbers of butterflies deposit numerous eggs on very young trees that then suffer severe damage from developing larvae. However, damage can only be averted by chemical treatment if the problem is detected early, i.e. when the majority of larvae are still in the early stages of development. When larvae reach the latter instars, they're more resistant to insecticides, and most feeding damage will have been done. Careful monitoring of young groves early in the flush cycles is necessary for timely detection and treatment. Bacillus thuringiensis, a BT based, it's a bacterial based treatment, can provide effective control with the added advantage of not affecting beneficial species, but you couldn't afford to do that with your growth. Anyway, this was kind of curious. The second picture, I saw two of these last night in the adult stage like this, and I just picked them off and squished them on the ground. They're about 1.5 inches long, and they look like bird shit. It looked like a seagull came by, and they also look like they have two heads, but they are heavy eaters at times, and maybe that's what's been getting. I still think it's grasshoppers, but I didn't see any grasshoppers last night, and I didn't really look for them, but I don't recall seeing. I think I saw one. But something's eating the leaves. It's not. Again, it's not a real red alert yet, if ever. And these things, I've usually seen half a dozen of them in a year, and know what they look like. The second picture is a baby. I thought it was a baby when I identified it, or when I saw it at first, and then when I read this description that I just read to you, I could see that it matched that description, and the timing is right. It was a couple of trees away, and you can see the second one. It's really kind of interesting. Smaller than about a little bigger than, maybe 2 or 3 times as long as a fire ant at this stage. Anyway, the third thing is I saw my first, or our first, your first psyllid. One psyllid was found. I checked all of the trees in 1.5 rows. I even lifted up the scabbards to the covers to look at to see if suckers were growing underneath them. Mostly they weren't, but a few had some weak ones, but that were 7 or 8 inches long, and I was able to snap those off and just put the cover back down. So they're doing good. The trees are just doing excellent. They're really doing excellent. This was more of a nature email than a red alert. But you should be on the lookout for these things. You can see that second slide. You know what to look for, and just squish them with your finger. The big ones you got to sort of pinch and pull off, icky, and step on them. They're like kind of like a hornworm on a tomato plant, and they're yuck. What else? There were a few things. Oh, I checked the sand filters. I never did have to turn on the water. There was very little. There was about half or 1/3 of as much sand as normal. Maybe that's because the pumps weren't running very much this week because of the rain. And by the way, I measured a little over 2 inches of rain one day, and I mean during 3 days of it, and the day before or so there was half an inch, so there was around 2.5 inches or 2 3/4 inches. But I might be wrong. It seemed to me that rain gauge wasn't acting quite right when it was really coming down hard once. And I haven't talked with Ron to see what he's got. I talked with a friend of mine up in Oak Hill, my hay guy, and he measured over 5.5 inches there. But we really escaped the brunt of the storm. We got just the right amount of rain, really. And it was spread out enough that it didn't seem to do any damage. There's no sign of any real wet spots on your property. Looked pretty good. When I got back home last night, I should have looked at it then, and I didn't. I started to, but I didn't really. I was more interested in trying to scout and look for psyllids and things, and on some. Oh, another thing, I did pick off some baby fruit. There was 2 or 3 trees that had. One tree had about 18 young fruit that were already set. And they were the size of BBs, they weren't big, but they'd already set. And so I just pinched them off because you don't want them growing on a tree that can hardly stand up yet. And some experts had told me for the first 2 years, we pick them off and let them stay on the 3rd year to help develop the canopy and just give them more fertilizer on the 3rd year. But it helps bend the branches to get the canopies horizontal instead of going up at a 45-degree angle. The trees are growing very quickly. They're looking very healthy. Most of the trees have a nice dark green color that is surprising because they weren't getting. I don't think they've been getting the fertilizer from the tank. I did see another spray tank down there, maybe a 2-gallon tank that looked like it might have the same fluid in it that was in the big tank, so fertilizer tank. So maybe someone's been doing some hand squirting of that stuff. But stand back. They've been getting a lot of rain. They're really doing well. What I started to say was I'm wondering about the trying to rototill. If your trees are coming in mid-August or late August, it even doesn't make any difference, even if it's the beginning of August. They either really need to be. Well, I'm not sure that I can easily. If there's like 500 trees left, that I can bend over and pull up 500 spikes. it's not the spikes that are the problem, but a lot of them have their tubes are wrapped around in heavy grass, and if I want to try to pull up the whole line and till in there, I'm not sure my back wants to volunteer for that job. I could volunteer for tilling, but if we wait much longer to do that, it's going to have to be mowed before it gets tilled. And so we're in kind of a crunch right now that it really would have to be done within a week or so. But that brings up another problem: is it would have to be, certainly would have to be done all over again. The lines that have to be put back and then pulled up when you get home and when the trees come. So it may be, I'll go look at it again, but it may be the best solution to just hit the unfinished stuff with Roundup. I know you'd probably rather not, but it's going to take some time to pull that stuff up, and it would probably take someone else besides me to coordinate with to pull them up and get that tubing out of the way so I could till. So I'll you can be thinking about it, what your thoughts are about rounding up the whole row, or just where you can round up in a big area where the trees are going to go. That might be the easiest. There's still a lot of grass growing near, and not in a wide strip, but whoever mowed it, and probably Jake did, and he's done a great job. And he certainly doesn't want to hit the tubing or whatever, the spikes. But there's like 6 inches of stuff. Now either, if I could find some time to come by with the lawnmower, maybe I could do it. I haven't got the time right now. And in fact, I may disappear at any time to go up to Massachusetts. My lifelong friend again is in intensive care. His heart stopped and they resuscitated him, and they told his family it doesn't look, there's not much they can do. He's on life support, and they're talking about whether to pull the plug or not. So I'm sort of half expecting a call at any time, whether it's tomorrow or 3 weeks from now. I have no idea what's going to happen. There's not enough information yet. But if I disappear, I don't know if I'm going to fly or drive or what, how long I'll be gone. Anyway, there's still plenty of time between now and August when you come back, if you come back. So anyway, I don't want to leave things on a kind of a lesser note. I'm going on a happier note that there wasn't much sand in the filters. Everything is being left alone. There's nobody bothering the grove or sprayers or stuff. It looked like Jake or somebody did disconnect the fire hose and moved it up. It looks like it's up by the pipes and folded a little bit better. That's a much better idea. It'd be better just to get it out of there. I get nervous because someday it'll be gone. But maybe not. I just tend to worry about things that don't happen. Okay. That's really it for now, I guess. I'm sure I'll think of things after this is over, but wanted you to see the pictures of the orange dog, some babies. I saw a couple of babies on different trees, 2 babies, and 2 adults that are both deceased right now. Everything else looks good. I'll catch you later, and hope you're hanging in there well. Bye.